If you want a bit of a laugh, stick around to the end of the video. I got called by basically a scammer halfway through making this recording, and that conversation was completely captured by the recording. So yeah, if you fancy a bit of a chuckle, stick around till the end. Also, congratulations to the winner of our free game this week. Your name is on the screen right now. Well done, you left a lovely comment. If you'd like to enter each week, make sure that you leave your own comments down below. Yes, it is completely contrived to boost the algorithm, and it gives me something to read after sitting in this room for however long it takes. We're going to have a look at the best games on sale this week, as well as a couple of Savaloy's very cheap games that you can pick up for just a few quid. So, without further ado, what are the best games on sale? Well, my name's Mark Walker, welcome back to SwitchUp. Now let's find out. I want to start off with a game that I have never seen on a sale this deep, and it's Minecraft. It's 50% off at the moment, which is a right bargain. If you're unfamiliar, Notch made this, and then Microsoft bought it, and then everyone panicked, but they kept playing it. And in fairness, Microsoft have released a ton of updates for it. It's had a bunch of new content. They added in a load of new animals and sea creatures and stuff, and now it's on a really good discount. I think this is probably related to its 15-year anniversary or something crazy. Holy smokes, that's a long time, isn't it? But at 50% off, this one can be played solo or in co-op. You can do split screen, you've got survival mode, and yeah, I mean, it's sold probably like hundreds of millions of copies at this stage in the game. And the reason for that is I really enjoy it. I gotta be honest, I'm a bit of a Minecraft nerd. Just relaxing music, building whatever you want. No real pressure unless you want there to be. That sale, as I say, goes on until June the 5th. Alright, cheers to G2A for sponsoring this episode. It's a hub where you can find digital entertainment, games, gift cards, software, and a lot more besides. And they've got a special offer for console players. On a unique landing page, I'll pop a link to that in the description to get some unique deals. I'm actually currently playing through Red Dead Redemption 2, trying to complete it for the first ever time. That's over 60% off on here. If you've not yet picked up Elden Ring, that's also over 50%. It's not just Xbox, there's PlayStation 5 on there. And of course, Nintendo Switch. You can get your Nintendo Switch online, grab some first-party titles at reduced prices, and they do bundle deals on there as well. So if for some strange reason you haven't yet played Tears of the Kingdom, this might be a good time to pick it up. You can also sign into G2A's newsletter and you'll get 10% extra off of your next order. The link to sign in will be in the description and the top pinned comment. And thanks to those guys for sponsoring this episode. Next up, we've got the TEslagrad 1 and 2 bundle for just a tenner. Yes, please. Now, TEslagrad 1, this is the HD remake of the original, with obviously TEslagrad 2 being the follow-up. I've completed this one actually a couple of times. It did have slightly janky performance at the start, but they've patched it up since. It's not perfect, but it is in a decent state, and it's a fun game. It's just not that long. I seem to remember it took me about maybe like 5 to 8 hours, something like that. What was very cool about it was the way you move around the world, so there's quite a bit of scope to it. It does that thing where the camera will pan out so far and you just see these huge environments, and you can fast travel between like this sky area and the ground. There are also some bosses in here that basically, they use interesting mechanics rather than just smash them up, you know, you're not just whacking them with a sword. For the two games together, that's such a good price, it really is, it's well worth it, they're very good, and that sale goes on until May the 31st. Borne of Bread is down to its cheapest ever price, 50% off, down to £13.49. This takes big inspiration from Paper Mario. The main protagonist is actually a flower golem. He literally comes out of the oven at the start of the game. And it's quite funny actually, the writing's good, nice and quirky. Has that thing where, you know, like you kind of see jokes in there that your kids wouldn't see, but at the same time it's not filthy, you know what I mean? A really fun game. It uses like a turn-based combat system but with real-time inputs, so it's called active turn-based, isn't it? I do quite like that. I think they could have gone a little bit further with some of the inputs that you have to do, like they're pretty basic. I guess it keeps that side a little more fresh. And then there's platforming in there. Yeah, a fun game for sure, quite long as well. About 15 hours to finish, and if you're a bit of a completionist, then you're looking at upwards of 30. This is significantly the cheapest it's ever been. It's well worth it at this price, and that goes on until May the 22nd. If you've been around the channel for more than 5 minutes, you'll know we do a series called All Patched Up, where we revisit games that launch in a bad state, and Nocturnal is the prime example of why I do that. Now, they were messaging me back and forward as they improved the experience, and it's in a decent state now. Now, it uses a cool mechanic whereby you've got to be around the fire and you can kind of take the flame to use that as your weapon. But then obviously as you're away from it, it will gradually extinguish. That flame fights back the mist that's like plaguing the land. It's very cool and it works well. The issue at launch was the performance was so bad. It was just, yeah, it really did detract from it. It kind of looked like a stop frame animation. But yeah, they fixed it all up now, which is really good to see. There's also an emphasis here on speedrunning. If you like that, you can kind of play through with a speedrunning mindset, I guess, and it caters to those types of players. But if not, you can just make your way through. There are moments where it locks you into combat, and there's some tricky platforming sections as well where the screen kind of progresses and you need to keep up, where you might be being pursued by something. I really enjoyed it, but yeah, like I say, it's much better in this condition, and it's the cheapest it's ever been. It's down to £11.69. That goes on until May the 22nd. Then you've got the brand new Morbid, the Lords of Ire, which is sequel to one of our Savaloys, Morbid the Seven Acolytes, and takes the Souls-like into the third person. Now, creating a third person game is much more difficult than it is to do a 2D one. So I was slightly interested to see how this would pan out, but they did a cracking job. Now look, let's be real here, on the Switch it does not look great. In fact, I think the visuals and performance score was 13 out of 20. But with that said, the actual performance side of that was okay. It runs around about 30 FPS most of the time, it's fine in handheld, it's more just those visuals. The game, however, is very much like Bloodborne. You've got a gun that you can use to stagger enemies, you're trying to reduce their poise so that you can do massive damage attacks. There's also a quick parry mechanic so that if you time it just right, you'll do extra poise damage to the enemies. And then also there's a riposte move. So for Souls fans, you're going to really feel at home here. There's some nice level design in there where you do that thing where you push in trying to get a shortcut, which actually leads right back to the start. And then the fights themselves, I would say it's easy. Like, it's not easy, but it's an easier Souls-like if you're someone that struggles with difficulty. The sale for that one goes on until the 22nd of May. The sale for that one goes on until June the 16th. Alright, the US region, you have a great sale on one of the best hidden gems we have on Switch, a game called Unsighted. This one has a time pressure mechanic and you're trying to save your friends. You play as Alma, who's an automaton who awakens within this world right after the war with the humans. They've actually created a huge world here. It starts out small, well, it feels like it's small in stature, and then it just expands outwards. There's crafting in there. The choices that you make actually seem to have at least a slight impact on the narrative, and they certainly have an impact on the other NPCs, as you'll find out. It gets pretty dark. It's a good game solo, but they also added in co-op mode as well. Some extra challenges, they added in a boss rush mode, so yeah, it only got better after launch. Another one, I guess, that benefited from being revisited. For your first run through, you could do it in around 8 to 10 hours, but there's at least 20 hours of content in there. That's 60% off until May the 21st. The Last Faith sees its biggest ever discount, down 30%, which is $17.49 here in the UK. There is a physical of this one available as well if you're a physical collector. You can probably save a bit with our Play Asia discount actually. We've got links to that in the description. You've got the now almost too prevalent Souls-like Metroidvania combo here. But sometimes they're a little bit more special, you know, and I did enjoy this one. Even if I wouldn't say it's as good as Blasphemous. I think the world they created it looks lovely, doesn't it? It's all about that precision-based combat, struggling to survive and progress further and deeper into this world. This is a chunky old beast, around 17 to 20 hours, and as I say, that's the cheapest that one's ever been.
Leave this place. It is not a destination for a cursed traveler.
There's a bit of a theme this week, it feels. The next one up is another Metroidvania, it's After Image, and another that we revisited on the channel. It also got a very good review score. It's down 55% to its cheapest ever price of just £9.45. Yes, please. This basically takes Metroidvania in the Hollow Knight sense and dials everything up. Like, I'm not saying it's better than Hollow Knight, because that, I think, creates, I don't know what it is about Hollow Knight that I love so much. But this one, you know, you've got like 170 different enemies. There's 200 different pieces of equipment that you can find. It's just massive. Like, it's just absolutely huge. And it's good. Like, it's not just big for the sake of it. It's got a cracking soundtrack as well. Criminally underrated, in my opinion. But again, another one that launched in not a great state with quite a few issues, and they had to do a number of patches to get it in the right place. But by that time, the damage is done, isn't it? Metacritic score, it's taken a big hit and people are just a bit annoyed at it. But yeah, that's why the sales video is probably a good place to mention those types of games. Around 25 hours to finish, but around 50 hours to do everything. The sale for After Image goes on until May the 31st. I want to mention Paleo Pines because it is matching its, well no, it's the cheapest it's ever been. But when I reviewed it, I don't know if I was a bit harsh. I said this last time, I just think, I don't know, I was so burnt out on like cozy blooming sim life games. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, let's build a campfire again. Let's go chop some trees. And I think I'd overdosed basically on coziness. And I think perhaps I was just a little bit grumpy about it, even though I think the score was a fair reflection. What I will say is that I have noticed the amount of patchwork that they've done to this, the amount of extra content, of TLC that they've put in since launch has been impressive. I don't think there's been a week or a couple of weeks where I haven't seen them update it in some way. And I've got all the time in the world for that, because it's not like it was broken at launch. They obviously just wanted to keep going, keep working on it. Now, yes, they did massively improve the visuals and performance on the Switch version, but they also added in different quests, new items, fixed some tools and bits that weren't working, but it just feels more complete now than when it first came out, and it's got dinosaurs in it. Anything that has dinosaurs instantly gets more points, in my opinion. There should be some kind of lore around that. So yeah, if you're after one, maybe a good kids pick, or if you just like those cozy games, then it's one to consider. It is single player only though, which I think is a little bit of a shame. But the sale for that one goes on until May the 31st. Okay, the hidden gem this week is a game called Hoa. It's down 55% to just over £6. It's a puzzle platform adventure that looks lovely. It's almost like a watercolor painting. Has a very relaxing soundtrack as well, and it came out in the worst possible week. Like I said, I remember it vividly, thinking that looks actually really nice. But yeah, it was just it wasn't a good time to release a game. You're trying to help Hoa as she journeys back through this land, and I still haven't finished this one. And you might wonder why we would ever stop games like this. It's because of just time. Like, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? It takes a lot these days for something to hold your attention all the way through. For us, obviously with reviews, you have to do that for certain things, but when it's just games that you're playing for fun, it can be really difficult to finish it. I'm sure it's the same for you guys as well, and it ends up just in that backlog, doesn't it? But this one's not that long, so I've got no excuse really not to finish it, because I've only got maybe an hour left of the game. It's only like 2 to 3 hours in length. So yeah, I'm gonna do that this weekend. I'm recording this video on Friday. By the time you see this on Sunday, I will have done it. You can say, Mark, did you finish the game? And I'm too honest to tell you a lie. So if I didn't, then I'm just gonna probably stick my head in the sand and carry on playing Animal Well, which has just been glorious. The sale for Hoa goes on until May the 26th. Alrighty then, it is time for our Savaloy Selection. These are all ridiculously cheap. Cheaper than the price of a good old Savaloy or your regional equivalent dish. There is an active Savaloy Selection community in these videos now who seem to really enjoy this section. I guess it's that whole thing, isn't it? They kind of pick up and play, super cheap, but actually you can get some real gems in there. First up then, at 90% off, down to £2.49, you got Rustler, which describes itself as Grand Theft Horse. It's not as good as GTA in any way, shape or form. It's a bit of a laugh though, and it's well worth this price. It's like a medieval sandbox. So if the idea of GTA Horse appeals to you, then yeah, consider that one. Down from its usual price of $24.99. Holy smokes. Farm Tycoon, super addictive farming game, 90% off, down to $1.99. I really enjoyed this. I love that they created their own engine for it. Like that visual looks nice, doesn't it? And it runs well on Switch, which is yeah, not something we can say all the time. There are a few little quirky bits, a couple of glitches and here and there, but overall, yeah, really fun little farming game. Then you've got Big Journey, aka Loco Roco, which is down 50%, just over £2. Very good price. Tilt the whole world, move that guy around. You know the vibes if you've played Loco Roco, which, yeah, we need another one of those, don't we? You've got Chris Tale, which I thought was excellent, although the random battles did annoy me a little bit. So if you don't like random battles, don't get it. But otherwise, it's a long old RPG that told a decent story. I had a good time with this, and what, £3.49? Yes please. Finally then, I think it's only fitting that we finished with Morbid the Seven Acolytes, which I chatted about the sequel to in the main part of the video. That's down 85% to £2.99, probably to celebrate the release of their next game. What I'll say about this team is they're very passionate. You know, it feels like it's like with Glen and I, it's just us two doing this channel. It's not like a big company or anything like that. And it's the same with teams like this. You can tell that they so care what people think of their games, and they try and do everything they can to improve them. So yeah, go check out their first one, 85% off, down to £2.99. And that is it for this week of sales. Let me know in the comments what you're interested in. I promised you, didn't I, that you could hear the phone call of the scammers who rang me literally while I was making this video. I think I was polite enough with them, to be honest. But yeah, we can end with that actually. That could be the see ya. Thank you to our Patreons and our members and all of you that enjoyed the content. Here comes the phone call. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hi. It's Isaac calling from 3 Network. How are you doing today?
Oh, bro, I'm halfway through recording a piece of audio. I can't talk.
Okay. Should I call you like this?
I mean, I've got a phone contract already, so yeah, I'm all right.
So I'm not giving you any kind of new contract, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'm all right.
Okay, sir. Basically, this call is regarding an upgradation call, sir. We simply just want to renew your contract.
Yeah, I haven't got a contract.
And we are also minimizing your monthly bills as well.
I haven't got a contract with 3.
Okay, sir. I'm not giving you any kind of new contract, sir. And we are offering you 30% discount on latest mobile phones as well, sir.
It's all good.
Plus, we are offering you iPhone 15.
Yeah, it's all good. Cheers. I only have one thing to say, really, and that is, see ya!